I will take charge of my post and protect all personnel and property for which I am responsible until properly relieved. When I was younger, I always wanted to be a police officer. I grew up in a small town in Southern Virginia with my parents, my older brother, and my younger sister. I was always interested in being a police officer. When I was young, I used to play cops and robbers just like every other little boy did. I grew up, and when I was in high school, I was given the opportunity to shadow the local police department. While doing that program, I learned that a lot of police officers actually found that they didn't enjoy being a police officer as much as they had thought they would when they were younger, and had thus started going to college after work or on their days off in order to pursue another career. This took a lot of time away from their family and friends. They recommended to me that I go to college first and try and find some way to work security or some type of law enforcement prior to that before I decided to make it my career. I learned that some of these police officers, again, did not really enjoy what they thought they had loved and what they would love. So I began to look into the United States Air Force. When I was in 10th grade, I went to the recruiter for the first time. I talked to them briefly and left it at that. Then early in my junior year, my uncle offered to go to the recruiter's office with me and talk to the recruiter so that way they wouldn't sell a bunch of lies. Eventually, I did enlist. I left in September of 2006 after graduating high school in June. I went through Air Force Basic Military Training, and then I entered the Security Forces Apprentice Course at Lackland Air Force Base. Spent about 3 months there. While there, I learned the basics of the U.S. Air Force Security Forces mission and how to be a military police officer. After completion of the school, I was PCS to Bowling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C., where I did law enforcement on the installation. While there, I also deployed 3 times. The first time to Balad, Iraq, doing security for the flight line and basic law enforcement duties. After returning from Iraq, shortly after that, within 7 months, I deployed to Kosovo, which is in southeastern Europe. It's a fairly new country. They were affected by the genocide committed by Slobodan Milosevic, the then president of Serbia. And in 2008, they actually became an independent country, recognized by the United Nations and the League of European Nations. While I was there, I volunteered for a 365 to Baghdad, doing an in lieu of mission for the Army. This was a mission working for the Army in an Army role, working with the Iraqi police. This was a very, very educational experience. I learned a lot about the Iraqi culture and a lot about what the Army does in Iraq. We dealt with a lot of different things. We helped teach the Iraqi investigators how to investigate IEDs and murders and things of that nature. It was a very, very eye-opening experience. With all that happening, I know the future is a little bit skeptical, but I do have some plans of my own that I plan to seek out. My first goal is to complete my CCAF, which is the Community College of the Air Force, which is an Associate's in Criminal Justice. I hope to have this done by July. This is one of the last classes that I need to complete that. After completion of my CCAF, I continue to use as much energy as possible to move towards my bachelor's degree in Homeland Security, which I am working towards at AMU. This I hope to be able to utilize once I retire as a Master Sergeant in the Air Force. Upon retirement, I hope to become a Virginia State Trooper, and protect the state which I grew up in and protect all of the travelers that come to visit Virginia. While doing that, in May of 2014, I will be marrying my now fiancée Sarah. We hope to have 2 kids of our own at some point after we wed and push towards both of our dreams. She's working on her master's degree right now in Homeland Security, and she's focusing in emergency preparedness with that. So we hope to accomplish both of our dreams in the near future. Today I've shared a little bit about myself. I've given you a little background about my early life. Then I told you about my life in the Air Force so far, just a brief history of that. And then after giving you that very brief bio, I moved on to a little bit about my goals and my plans for the future. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight about myself and what I stand for, and I hope that you all enjoyed learning a little bit about this. Thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a great day. Good luck, class.